in London in preparation for the royal wedding. And Channel 5 reporter Dave Andrews is in England for the festivities. Here is his look at the multi-million-dollar royal wedding souvenir industry.
London is no different than any other major city in the world. Souvenir stands abound. Tourists always want to bring home something to remember their trip by. But this summer in London, tourists have something special to remember.
What do you have at our wedding, royal wedding souvenirs? Just like, have you anything in China?
This article we found in a British magazine sums up just what has happened to the souvenir industry here. It was the darkest February, and Britain lay in the throes of its worst economic slump since the war. And then the engagement was announced between a young nursery school teacher and the heir to the British throne. And suddenly the wheels of industry turned again. And they started cranking out Charles and Di lapel buttons, keychains, coffee mugs, glasses, tote bags, money boxes, pen and pencil sets, towels, photo albums, spoons, bells, and playing cards. And the list goes on. It's all turned into a souvenir seller's dream as the money rolls in.
Well, they're so well known, they're so well liked, and you've got the souvenirs, the two of them together, and you've got them separate, and everybody who comes up there, they want Charles and Diane.
Is that right?
Everybody wants it. They say, have you got one of those? Sometimes I'm sold out and I haven't got no more left. I say, go round the office to get some more.
What does that have inside of it?
That's got everything. This is the best value there is. It's got all the photographs, all the history of the royal family, the Queen, Prince Philip, all these.
Those look like mostly official photographs.
Yeah, and all their history and all that, you know. It's a very good one. This is the best value out of the lot.
What are they asking for?
They're asking $1.95, and it's worth every penny.
It's surprising. Once they see a person, they want to, like, go to see a film star. That's all I want is photograph. You know, and they sign it back.
As soon as everybody sees the wedding procession on Wednesday, they'll probably be coming over and getting some pictures.
Oh, they've got plenty of money with them.
And just how much will the wedding industry mean to the British economy? Well, estimates now are running as high as $700 million. Dave Andrews, Channel 5 Eyewitness News, London.
And we will have more from our London crew tonight at 6 and again at 10 on Eyewitness News.
The final preparations with comments from some Minnesotans in London.
All of the colorful decorations have been placed and most of the preparations have been completed for the royal wedding procession, which will begin here at Buckingham Palace shortly after 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. And as you can see, British people and tourists alike have already started to gather here to take in the excitement. And among the tourists here from all over the world, there are the workers completing the final touches, men setting up fences along the procession route, television crews from several countries working on their camera positions, aligning their transmission signals, and painting their sets. One of the Goodyear blimps is even in town. It will provide aerial shots of the wedding procession. There is already mounting anticipation of the wedding, and even this vacationing couple from Minneapolis has been caught up in the excitement.
I am getting a little caught up in the spirit of it, really, and I didn't think I would be, but I am.
It's in all the papers, right?
Right, and the television and everywhere, and on the streets. Even they painted the pillars and everything. It's all cleaned up.
It's very festive.
Right.
And with all of the posters all over, the postcards, the souvenirs, it's more than the state fair, you might say, as far as the way the festivities are going.
When the wedding procession travels here through Trafalgar Square and the next mile and a half to St. Paul's Cathedral, more than 500,000 people are expected to be lined several deep to see it in person. And in 10 countries around the world, an estimated 200 million people will be watching the wedding on television. The Buckingham Palace guards have maintained their classic stoicism throughout all this excitement leading up to the wedding day. Their lives probably won't change all that much, except after this Wednesday, they will have one more person to guard, the current Lady Diana Spencer. I'm Dave Andrews, Channel 5 Eyewitness News, outside Buckingham Palace.
When Lady Diana Spencer and Prince Charles were pronounced man and wife. The event, billed as the wedding of the century, lived up to its name with every bit of pomp and ceremony the British could muster. 1 million people lined the streets to cheer as horse-drawn carriages made their way to St. Paul's Cathedral. First the Queen in an open carriage, then came Prince Charles with his brother Andrew, And finally came the bride-to-be. She was in a closed carriage. After the wedding, there was a procession back to Buckingham Palace, and then the prince and his new princess appeared to the crowds from a balcony. Eyewitness News' Dave Andrews was in London for the event and has this report.
The wedding procession was indeed spectacular, and as members of the royal family drove up the Strand towards St. Paul's Cathedral, Mr. and Mrs. Elwood Scalroot from Burnsville, Minnesota had one of the best views possible of all the pageantry. They came to London specifically for the royal wedding, and they were not disappointed. What are your impressions, Mr. Scalroot?
Oh, my goodness. I really can't express them because I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what to say. It's just fabulous.
Mrs. Scalroot?
It's the most thrilling thing I've ever seen. I can't believe it.
Quite an amazing sight, isn't it?
It's just unbelievable.
Oh, my. I wonder how many million are here today.
The final carriage on the way to St. Paul's carried Lady Diana Spencer, soon to be the Princess of Wales, and everyone was anxious to see exactly what kind of wedding dress she was wearing. The design was kept secret until today.
I didn't see much of the bride because she had so much material in there that I couldn't see anything but a little face, and that was covered.
Quite a big wedding dress she had.
Oh, my God, there must be tons of material in there.
But this vantage point was excellent.
Oh, it's tremendous. Right here, I think it's in the center of the whole parade.
The Scalroots and hundreds of thousands of other spectators waited patiently for the wedding ceremony to conclude, and then came the moment when Prince Charles and the new Princess of Wales rode back to the palace together as man and wife, cheered on by the local British and others from all over the world. The proper ending to this historic royal occasion in England. Dave Andrews, Channel 5 Eyewitness News, London.
And locally, several groups of folks got together to celebrate the royal wedding. Among them, well, this group in New Brighton. While most people are usually sleeping at 4 in the morning, these dedicated souls gathered around a television set, some in formal attire yet, to be part of the estimated 700 million people worldwide who watch the pageantry from London. Party hostess Nancy Jasinski explains how the whole...
Special little touches that would lend a true English flavor. Start off by requiring formal attire, even though you are aware that everyone's idea of formal is different. The food might include smoked kippers, a fancy fish, strawberries Devonshire, a fancy dessert, and wassail, a fancy bread. A real wedding celebration calls for a wedding cake and overflowing bottles of bubbly, fancy champagne. You might also want to add a giant candelabra that looked as if it could have come from St. Paul's Cathedral. And if one TV is not enough, put another one in the bathroom. No one should miss anything. Have everyone sign the guest book in royal titles. Some might even believe they are royalty.
Every person with royal blood in him can feel today that this is a magnificent occasion.
Now that everything seems to be running smoothly, is it worth it?
I am pleased as punch. It's just fantastic. These people are crazy.
A few hours later, it's all over. But you've had fun and you witnessed history. So what if you were 4,500 miles away? Tony Saffold, WCCO Television News, South Minneapolis.
Andrews was watching the royal procession with a mother and daughter from St. Paul. Here's his report.
Mrs. Josie Nicklay of St. Paul returned to her native London just for the royal wedding. But this morning, even though she arrived more than 4 hours early to find a spot on the procession route, she and her daughter Cindy were stuck behind 5 rows of people, most of them much taller than they. But the Nicklays stood on their toes and were able to get glimpses, at least, of the procession to the church.
Even though I didn't see too much, just knowing they were going past was wonderful. I saw Lady Diana and Prince Charles and Princess Anne, so I feel that I was very lucky.
There were people out there shorter than us, and they couldn't see anything, but they were there. We had a little boy next to us this big.
Mrs. Nicklay lived in London 40 years ago, and she saw the wedding of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip in 1947, but she said today was even more impressive. And Cindy, although born and raised in Minnesota, was just as thrilled.
I would rather be here than watching it on television or anywhere. It wouldn't be the same.
Oh, it was wonderful. Just the excitement, being here with the people, the feeling when they came past.
And the entire day passed virtually without a hitch. The security force on hand, larger than for any previous royal occasion, was only needed to keep the enthusiastic well-wishers back behind the fences. So the wedding is over, and the bands are playing, and the bells are ringing for the Prince of Wales and the new Princess of Wales. And certainly this occasion has thrilled the hundreds of thousands of people from across England and across the world who have come here to be on hand for this royal event. I'm Dave Andrews, Channel 5 Eyewitness News in London.
And we suspect that many of you here in the Twin Cities were watching the wedding as well.
That is entirely correct, because NSP reports makes it official it had to put out a lot more power than usual this morning about 5 o'clock when the wedding was broadcast here in the U.S. And we'll be back with more news in just a moment.
To live together according to God's law in the holiest state